Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Top Tier Talk. Chavez, terrible, terrible week for you, Man United fan. We'll start with you. Take it away.
So yeah, two matches, and the one I'm going to be positive, or at least somewhat positive about, is the one that we lost 4-3 in, which was the first game. Which, to be fair, even after the game happened, there was no massive overreaction because the performance was okay. We just don't really finish our chances, and Tottenham create quite a lot. And to be fair, it did feel like Tottenham needed to win that game a lot more, considering they haven't won a trophy in a while. And I think Amorim, even before the game, has said our aim is to win the Premier League. Winning these little cups, as we've discussed many a times on this podcast, isn't really a true indicator of where you are. So you win it, it's nice, but it doesn't actually mean anything long term. And we've seen that. Ten Hag's not a manager anymore, yet he won a trophy every year, I think, every full season. So in the game itself, Tottenham were quite shocking. That's the funniest part. I don't think I've ever seen a team score four and win and get battered by the pundits as much as Tottenham did. They just did not have any control in that game, and they kept making mistakes. Fraser Forster, he doesn't look like he wants to play. He's being forced to play, and he does not fit their system at all. I have to say, I'm not going to talk as much about United in this game because I will in the second game. But Ange is very stubborn, and I'm not sure Ange is going to win much trophies when he has this level of stubbornness. They talked about it in the actual game afterwards that if your team is struggling to play out from the back, you can for 5 minutes adjust. But even it felt like in that game that he was forcing them, even after the drastic things that happened with Ahmad scoring off, pressing off Forster. He just wanted to continue for them to do the same thing that was causing the problems. It doesn't look like he likes readjusting or changing for a few minutes. He just wants one way, and that's to attack and press and do his thing. So it was interesting to watch Tottenham from that perspective. But a good day for them, and they were dancing after the game to songs, winning a Carabao quarter-final game.
But
In
as
a,
you
Worst
said,
goalkeeper performances from both teams in a game?
Hmm?
Worst goalkeeping performances from
Oh yeah, it's the first time I've seen a clown for clown performance by both goalkeepers. Also, I
yeah.
have had United fans say Bender was sort of it should have been a foul. If it was given as a foul, and let's say VAR was in the game, I wouldn't overturn it. But as an actual decision, I hate when goalkeepers fall from the smallest thing. So I am so happy that the ref didn't give that. I think it's so good because goalkeepers seem so protected in the box. The smallest thing happens to them and they fall knowing that they'll get the foul. There was no force on the guy. It's a contact sport. It was just absolutely not a penalty. And he embarrassed himself a bit. He was
but
desperate
I think
trying
I
to get a foul.
think if you look at it, for example, as you said, no VAR or anything like that. But if you look at it on the black and white of things, if, for example, I don't know, Kulusevski would have put his hands on Martinez's shoulders to like leverage himself up, and it would have been a foul. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the sort of the same principle of your goalkeeper's using his hands, not his head. So putting your hands or your arm across his arms. It's a similar principle to using the defender
Yeah.
to. Do you
I
know what I mean?
mean,
It's
Dan, if
hard.
it
It's a
was
hard
two
one.
hands, if it
Yeah,
was two hands, fair enough. It's just one. I think
yeah,
it's clear enough to give. It's definitely not clear enough to overturn. So these guys, I think Bender thought there was VAR, which is why he was crying. So,
yeah.
and there was no VAR, so nothing
Which
was ever
is
going
the
to happen.
right call. That is the right call, by the way, and I will stand by that. There's no V. There shouldn't be. So because there isn't up until the is it the semis or is it
Yeah,
the final in the Carabao Cup? We
I would hope the semis have like if it was
because
two
obviously
legs.
yeah, because the two legs and there's Premier League teams. Whereas
Yeah,
in the FA Cup, we've seen it countless times. The one that stuck with me is the Swansea Man City game. Obviously, City ended up getting to the final and beating Watford. It's they had a there was a penalty that wasn't given, a penalty that shouldn't have been given in City's behalf, and an offside goal, all in the same game. But because it was played at Swansea Stadium and not City's,
yeah,
for literally no, it's a terrible decision. You're having games across the same game week in the FA Cup. I think
mm,
that is the one benefit or bonus that the Carabao Cup does have over the FA Cup. Not
yeah.
many, but I think that's one of them. I think that rule book is done correctly.
Yeah. The,
Um,
the only United point I was going to make in that game was Ahmad. Leading up to that game, our fans were talking about how Ahmad is a very technical, skillful, gifted player in that sense, but for some reason he also has this ability to press, which he doesn't even need to have, but he does. And they were calling it the Ahmad press. And then it was quite funny that that ended up with him doing his he does like a narrow curved press where he kind of follows the keeper as if he's running away, and then he comes in and he's there, and he actually got a goal out of it. It was very good to see. It's something he's doing week in, week out. So it's good to see someone in his position trying that hard. I think Salah sometimes, no, do you know what? I'm not even going to praise Salah gets a lot of praise, but that's not one thing he should deserve praise for. Ahmad does this, and I don't think many wingers in world football I've seen have that much of a work ethic. So it was nice to see.
that's one thing that just irritates me quite a lot. As you said, like goalkeepers getting a lot of time. I would say most teams in the country, not just in the Premier League, just probably in the country and across the world now, the goalkeeper is the starting point for the attack. Whether, as you said, like Forster, whether he's got the ball in the box, he'll play a long sprayed ball. I don't understand why attackers give them time. They just stand there 30 yards away, just waiting for them to kick the ball.
Mm.
Sometimes within 5 or 6 touches of the
Guess
ball's in
if they
your own
lose
net.
the press and then the midfield have to push up, it just leaves a gap.
Oh
So
no,
I
but in
don't
terms
Yeah.
of like the Ahmad thing, like one player can just challenge the goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? Not the whole team pushing up, but I don't know. Obviously, yeah, it's relevant to the situation, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me being
Yeah.
picky. Um, yeah, as you said, the 3-0 loss to Bournemouth for the second year in a row at home.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. I don't know if there's shock. I don't know if you guys, it's interesting to hear after. I'll ask you guys what you actually thought when you saw that result. But I live in the realm of reality, and you guys know, the moment Amram became manager, at no point on this podcast have I said, actually, we're 6 points off top four, or we're 9 points off top four. I actually tell you how many points we are off the bottom, because that's what I'm focusing on. I said, I just want to see Amram instill and take his time to fix what he needs to fix. While suffering the consequences of it, and he said he's going to suffer the consequences of it. He could do something tomorrow in the next game that would stopgap and maybe win us the game. But long term, he needs to do what he needs to do, right? He has a plan. So he said he's going to do that for uh, immediate consequence. So for us to lose that game 3-0, a team we lost them 3-0 Old Trafford last season. It's a team that have pretty much beaten every big manager this season. They've beaten Arteta. I think they've also beaten us. So they've beaten Arsenal. They've
They're
beaten
beating City
Chelsea.
as well. Beat City
They've
at
beaten
home.
City as well. Yeah, so it's not some small team. And Iraola's done a brilliant job. I thought we'd lose. At best, I thought we'd get a draw. They played us off the park. And like it's not even a surprise because they did it last year as well. And we haven't improved. We've regressed. So there's no shock there. The only thing I complained about was that regardless of who you're playing, when you've got the most easiest chances, we had more XG than them, and it was very evident why. We had a billion more shots and shots on target. We just didn't score our chances, and that's just it's not one player, every single player. And this is genuinely, it's not down to them being shit. I'm sure they got to this level of football or at this level playing because they can finish chances. It's because they have a mental problem at the club. These players are really like affected by the mood, emotion at the club, the fans. Amram said it. Amram's very honest in his assessment. He says the moment the ball is kicked out by Onana, there's already like a sense of tension from the crowd. These players genuinely feed off of that. They're not mentally as resilient as some other players in bigger teams, and we're not a bigger team. We're 13th. So it's the reality. But and as I said, as long as we survive, and some United fans, I don't want to focus too much on them, actually think that we should change our formation now that Amram has done his little gig of playing three at the back. No, we shouldn't. If we lose consistently, Amram can get sacked and we can sack him, and I would still rather Amram just continue doing what he does now. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He can go get sacked and be successful at another club. But he should just he will and he will. I don't even have to say it.
Do you
There
think
is
being
no
that rigid is a positive? I mean, look at Ange. He hasn't changed his high line and stuff. Do you not think sometimes the best managers are the ones that adapt as well?
not
Not just, yeah,
not
like
something as big as that. I mean, I think Amram can adapt in game. He's done it quite a bit. We've brought on substitutions. He's quite reacting, but in general, that formation and what he does, that's his way of playing football. He won't change it, and I don't think people should. I think
not
suggesting
change
he
it,
should
but like
disrespectful
tweak
to him.
it because it's not going to work every time. I mean, Ange, I think that's one of the biggest Ange's biggest problems at the moment, being too stubborn. I mean, sure, you got a philosophy, but as I said, the best managers
The
do adapt.
thing is, change it and do what? Long term, it's not his plan. So if he changes it now, it's not. We're not actually
Not
learning
change it,
because
just tweak it. Obviously, that's obviously something something isn't working if you're conceding three to Bournemouth at home, isn't there? There's obviously an
it's
issue.
it's purely down to like it's not Diego Dallo and the wing backs fault, but the wing back is a very important position in this formation. We don't have a player who carries it out. Like Malacia was the worst player on the pitch, and it's because it's unfortunate, but the left wing back position is really important. It gets quite hyper focused on him doing well. Same with Manu. His position is very important, and he has to run around, and he doesn't do that. So these players get caught out. You can tell it's not the manager's fault. It's just them not carrying out the system,
So
and
what
it's
this takes is more player like spending another 200-300 million in like transfer markets until he finds all the players he's got and then going from there, right? All the players that
yeah.
fit
I
the
mean
mold that
that's
he.
yeah. Like, well, yeah, we spent like 600 on Ten Hag, so I'm 200, 300 million is okay. And I'm
No,
not
I'm
even
just
sure if
saying
we'll be able to.
roughly. Not even guessing. Yeah, I mean, spend 600 on Ten Hag, and that was probably one of his biggest faults of the players he bought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his one of his stubbornness over the players he bought as well, keeping them playing. But we will see. Again, I'm not going to change my stance. Again, I don't know how many points we're off from the bottom because I don't care anymore. I think I'm actually confident we'll survive in the Premier League. But no one looks at that. Our fans and I don't know, they're optimists, naive, they're excited by Amram and the way he talks. They're always looking at, oh, we're 9 points off top four now. It's not our target this season. We're not that club.
And
It's
also
actually quite
the
cocky.
I was going to say, and also the top four clubs, as we said, week in, week out, probably aren't going to slip up. Maybe City,
Yeah,
but
look at
obviously,
Chelsea.
but you look at
But
the other
season
clubs
one
like.
Maresca, they're not slipping up.
But I was going to say, even the obviously City aren't in the top four now. But you look, Forest and Bournemouth aren't going to probably be there come the end of the season. One of them might be, or again, City could be City and go on one of their runs. That's not me
Mm.
saying they're going to win the league, but for you to finish in the top four from where you are now is a very big ask.
Never talked about it. I'll continue
No,
that.
no, I'm not just saying you, but as you said, like generally speaking, like with people going, oh, we're 9 points off, as you said.
Yeah.
You've been fairly realistic as you touched on. It was a
Yeah, you
stay
guys laughed at the
stay up
start, but
and go from there.
yeah,
I
you're
don't think
seeing
we're
now
real. I
why
think we've been downplaying it more than being realistic because Man United should, even with Amrin, be in a Europa spot, like in a Europe spot, despite everything. Like I think you do tiny bit
yeah, but without
downplay.
any transfer windows, I mean, he's come in and he's actually got a free
But
shot
he's
right now.
also had look at the players he's got. Look at Bournemouth. Probably like
They're not his players.
they're not his players, but look at the players. If you compare
Man,
probably
man for man,
Brighton
Bournemouth are better
and they're
than
probably
our 11
way
that day.
yeah,
Probably.
they're season 2 or 3, right? But
Yeah.
same time, like the players aren't like awful brain dead players, are they? They're established players in Europe, some of them internationals as well.
Yeah. Only thing, okay, last thing I'll say is I know I was quite depressed about the situation with Ten Hag being sacked, and I said all avenues have now closed. We've tried everything. I actually think this is the last avenue now. We've got an effective communicator. These players have made it very obvious since Ten Hag's been sacked that the communication wasn't good from his management to tell them what to do. So this is the last straw now. This man, he knows what he wants. They've got a system. It's right in front of them. If they can carry out, then good, we will get there. If he does not succeed at this club, I actually do believe in him. I think he will bring some success. This ends with him winning the Premier League in God knows how long, but it will end in him doing that 3, 4, 5 years. It's not a 1 or 2 year job. But if that doesn't happen, then
Delete the
yeah,
club, start again. Like,
yeah,
build another club.
yeah. I just can't see a scenario in him failing.
Become United Stand FC.
You know, it's stand FC.
Just hate on them. Yeah.
I suppose
That's
moving on to you and me. I suppose a very mixed week. Obviously, the 0-0 draw with Everton, following the 5-1 win against Shamrock.
I mean, Europa Conference League. I mean, it's if we don't win this, then guys, you guys can
Your club's
absolutely.
finished as well.
Yeah, I know. We'll delete club as well. I mean, Mark Gay gets hat trick. It's basically a training game each game. No disrespect to Shamrock Rovers, but yeah, fairly comfortable in that competition. The Everton game was a bit more of not an eye opener, but there were positive and negatives, like
A
attack
realistic
wise.
outlook on your team, sort of thing.
Exactly, a bit more of and I feel like I've been, for the most part, very like realistic fan. Like I told you guys when I'm watching the game, 5-1 Southampton looks flattering, but there were periods in the game with a better attacking line they could have scored, and it could have been a different story. We could be chasing the game, but yeah, I hope this is a bit of an eye opener for Chelsea fans. That it's not like all amazing just yet. I mean, we are still very new under Enzo Maresca. It's just, I guess Sanchez gets a lot of the praise, which is quite surprising considering he's usually the reason why I'm negative for Chelsea this season. But very, very good performance, kept us in the game. The defense was good. I mean, I think the positive is from last season, a game like this, we would end up losing 1 or 2-0. But the fact that we're coming away with a draw away from home at Everton, which the team probably should be winning, but it's still a tough place to go to. Still getting a point and a clean sheet, I think is showing like the difference in Chelsea this season to last season, in my opinion.
I definitely think Everton are a very annoying team this season. They seem to be
well,
like in these sort of no, because they got a draw against us. So I generally think they're a sort of that bogey team that decides on the day they want to pitch up and play football, and they are pretty good when they do it, and they can obviously hold the line pretty well. But then obviously they'll go and get slumped, maybe like 4-0 by the likes of Leicester or something. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird kind of
You
concept
guys
of what
were
they
at
end up
home,
to.
so I feel like it's a bit different. I think away at Goodison's quite a tough fixture, but you guys drew at home, which you probably should have won. So
But
I think that's.
I don't think
I
Everton
can't
are.
I can't even make a, like a claim
Oh,
anymore
but
about
no,
even relating it
but
back to us.
Yeah,
I mean, you
obviously
could have won though. Jackson had a really good chance in that game.
he
I know
did, but
Everton had a
they
few as
had a
well.
few chances as well. They were on the attack as well. I mean, Ndiaye is a really good player. I didn't realize how silky he is. Um, do you know what? It's a tough place to go to. It is a really tough place to go to.
So,
What did you think of Sancho?
Not as good as previous games. But I feel like Sancho has already proven how effective he is already. I mean, even the Tottenham game and stuff. I mean, you guys must be like punching yourselves in the head of the fact that Ten Hag couldn't get anything out of him. Because for us, if we can buy him, I think what was it, 25 million obligation to buy or option to buy? I
Yeah.
mean, you guys like we're missing out on like a to me a very good Premier League player and a good asset
I
for
mean,
us.
I think it's
he
also.
hasn't
I
really
think it's
done
also. I
anything yet.
was going to say. I think
No,
it's also the
he has
unknown.
contributed
Obviously,
a lot to the team. He has contributed. He's got goals and assists as well.
I was going
So
to say.
he's not.
I think it would be the unknown for Man United. Like obviously the whole Ten Hag thing that's over now. That's done with. Obviously Amrim has
Yeah, I
come
mean, you
in
don't
and he's
know. You
got. He
don't
could
know.
have a new player. He could come in and get an even better tune out of him. He could come in and Sancho could score 15
Yeah,
goals
Sancho
next
could
season
play.
in a system. He could come in
We
and not
have an
score
issue.
one.
Like he could left 10 is in a position that Bruno's not playing well. Sancho could come in and play it.
But again,
There's
it's
So
the
also, I feel
unknown.
like a Chelsea fan in London. I feel like Chelsea could be his home next season.
mm,
I feel like for for us to be second at Christmas, I don't think anyone really expected it. So projects going very well at the moment. I mean, compared to other teams who are like phase like 5 or 6 in their project and stuff.
he loves us. I'm telling you, he's an Arsenal fan deep
Well,
down.
could be
to
talking
be
about
fair,
another
he
team.
hasn't.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, the
Emery's in
other
like
team.
phase 5 or
Emery's
4.
no, Emery's not in phase five.
Enrique Ramirez, phase 3, 4,
Oh,
5.
I don't
There's
think there's
quite a
many
few.
managers that are in phase five.
There are a few managers, and Sean Dyche is in phase 5.
Phase five. I think he got hired about 2 seasons ago.
Well,
Either way.
That's what I'm saying. We're the only team who's probably maybe Newcastle with Eddie Howe as well, but
no,
that's about it.
that was recent as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I feel
that's
like
probably the only ones that have
Mate,
stayed
what do you
by.
think of this Gu? How do you say his name? Gui.
Gay,
He's
Gooey.
top
You, I
scorer.
don't
What'd you
know.
call
He's
me?
top scorer of the Conference League.
I mean, he's
Is he a
Barca. I
good
mean, the
player
fact that
or
we've got Barca's like one of a Barcelona striker for 5 million, and he's like 20 years old playing like that. Like, come on, guys.
does he actually have like does he look like someone who could be a long-term nine? Because that's such a
Could be, yeah.
difficult thing for Chelsea.
Even if
Could be. I
not,
mean,
they
the
could sell him to
competition.
a Forest or a Bournemouth for, as you said, like for 20 million. They're still good for Chelsea. Like the amount of money they've been spending on FFP and things like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like in terms of
And
like resale value.
yesterday actually really showed the importance of Mark Cucurella to this team because without us having him and coming in as an inverted wing back, it really shows he is very integral to Chelsea and why. Yeah, that was it in the summer we were saying like Man United were after him and it was like concrete and stuff was
Yeah.
mind-boggling, like such a big transformation for him, right? In terms of his role for the club.
Since the
So,
Euros, he's been really good.
Wish
Very, very, very good. Best left back in the league.
wish it wasn't good at the Euros, but that's a different story. But
Right.
is that do you reckon that's it for Chelsea or
Yeah, I
there's
mean, championship manager
boring club.
second in the league, above Arsenal. Like life's amazing right now. Life is
Still
really,
loves us. It's red. We actually think we're rent free. I think he has Arsenal bed sheets.
huh?
Nothing, mate.
Where are you? You below us? I can't hear you down there.
Why don't you talk about your was that
yeah
nil nils? Oh no,
Cre-
you won.
Crystal
Would
Palace
yeah? What do you think is going on, Shrez? Yeah,
Crystal Palace and
yeah. Crystal Palace and Crystal
double
Palace.
game
That's
week.
exactly it. Poor guys. Bless him. Nah. I think the Carabao Cup was a good game. I was happy to see Tierney make a return to the Premier League. It's nice to see my boy back, a left back.
Who?
It was my boy Tierney.
Didn't he get like limped off with an injury?
Did he? Yeah. No. Anyway, basically
Not
it was a strange game to be fair. They went up first and it was kind of like okay, it's one of those ones where he's just playing a half team and then he doesn't really care if he goes out or not. But we came back and we won 3-2. I think Gabriel Jesus had an absolute blinder of a game and he continued it in the second game against them in the Premier League. He's always got 5 goals in 2 games. He's definitely proven why he should go right. This is me as the number 9 now. He had a great game.
You aren't
I think
playing
everything
Palace
every
next week though. I will add that.
What?
what?
In terms of Jesus, I'm like he's not playing Palace
Oh.
again.
Oh, I
Like
thought
he's
you said
gone.
they
I
are.
thought you were like we're
No,
playing Palace again. I was like
I
what?
was no, I was like you're not playing Palace again. Jesus went what was it? His last Prem goal was like January, as a striker or an attacker, how can you go like nearly 12 months without scoring?
I don't
Ask
think
Haaland.
Havertz
Really?
had a future at Arsenal, to be honest. I thought probably one of
I'm
the
pretty
players that.
sure it was January. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure his
Anyway,
last Premier League goal was
Almost like
January.
Grealish. Nice hair.
anyway. No, so basically it was a weird game to be fair with the Carabao Cup. As I say, like we had the likes of Kyrgios at the back, Tierney at the back. It was like a complete kind of mix around. Mourinho came back on. Saka obviously had a double game week and then unfortunately is now injured for God knows how long. It seems to be pretty like
It said
rough.
many, many, many weeks. I saw it like the
Yeah, it
report as it
seems to be
came on.
pretty rough.
What
I
what is
mean,
it? An ankle ligament damage or something?
hamstring. No, it's hamstring.
Hamstring. Ooh. How do you
So,
feel
which
about
it's
that?
not good. He's pretty integral to that team, and now he's probably going to be what, like 8, 10 weeks out. So hopefully he comes back stronger. But obviously when he gets, I think Amir, when like for the likes of Reece James, when they get hamstring, it's pretty tough to kind of come back quickly.
Especially if
Because
it's a recurring one, it's literally like death's door basically.
exactly. So look, this is I think obviously I know obviously, Jesus doesn't really play on the right wing. I know he's obviously came in initially to be as the number 9, but I think he's got important boots to fill now. I think he has to go on that right hand side and dominate as he has been. And I know obviously Dan, you say it's Crystal Palace only, but I mean if he continues doing that against the likes of whoever we've got next and continues to do it forever, that's great. Um,
What's your
nice.
new front three then? What's your front three now? Saka's out. Would you say you're starting front three?
Uh,
And actually, Elliot, a twist to that question. Would you go and dabble in the transfer market in January, obviously, with coming up as well? Would you add to your front three as opposed to any players that
Good
you've got?
question.
yeah.
Good question.
Go on, then. What's your front
So
three?
my front
Wait,
three would probably be So with the current squad, Martinelli, Havertz, and Jesus. I
No
think
Trossard?
no.
Okay. And attacking wise, what would you be looking for? You don't have to say specific players, but if there's a position you'd want to strengthen in, what position would that be?
It'd definitely still be the number 9. I think we talked about this ages ago. It's still definitely that striker position. Like,
Havertz isn't good enough for you, would you say, for Arsenal?
it's not necessarily he's not good enough. It's that he's a different kind of player as what you'd want from a striker. I think that when you saw the likes of Havertz playing behind Jesus and against him in the Carabao Cup, I think he had a pretty good game. Um, it's I don't know. It's tough to call at the end of the day. You can't have that one key player that plays every single game, and then you have to rely on him like we have for Saka. Now, obviously, we're left out now for the right wing position. But I think the striker. I think you guys have said it all this season as well. And previously, last season, we should get the likes of a Tony, Isaac. Like a strong out and out striker who knows what he's doing and can convert goals. And look, if we can get one of them, like a high profile player, then why not? And you can just shift players about.
I think Isaac's going to leave for like 80 or 100. What I was going to say, yeah, I'll
If he
say it.
continues to start
Upwards,
being a fucking
upwards of
beast,
90 million. Upwards of 90 million
Where
to
to? Where
a
to?
top three club. City,
Premier League or
well,
outside of?
it'll
he
go
won't
to
go
Prem.
City. He won't go
I'm,
City.
I'm
Why would he go
thinking
City? Haaland's
more.
there.
I'm thinking more of like a backup double
Yeah,
striker.
exactly.
I
He
don't
wouldn't
know.
go then. I mean, you're stupid to do
Arsenal
it.
or Liverpool. Then I was going to say top three
Yeah.
was what I was going for. 90 million or
So
up.
not Chelsea, not top 3 Chelsea.
I don't think
I
I
think,
don't. I,
I don't think we need
you might know him. I was going to say whether you need him or not.
I
Would
don't
you
think
have
we need
90
him.
million pounds to spend on with
Yeah,
FFP?
more money than everyone, yeah. I
I,
don't think
I,
we need. I honestly don't think we need him. It sounds cocky to say, but I think Jackson has proven so far why I'd say stick with him. I
would,
think for
would
us,
you say goalkeeper
Nkunku's is
probably?
goalkeeper. I think Nkunku's is leaving in January as well. I don't know if United are still interested, but
No.
Chavez has said
Nuts.
he
Chavez
does.
is director of United. Went,
Chavez does not want Nkunku in his club.
I mean, we're not spending any money. We're like broke. So
mm. Oh, I've
wait,
got
which are you on about Isaac?
I
who
would,
Who
me?
did you
yes,
just
Sorry.
sign? Who?
I
Who
would,
who
yeah.
am I on about? Did you say
Yeah, which striker were you just saying 90
Isaac?
million? Oh yeah, he's an Arsenal player already.
Yes,
Oh, he's there.
question for
he's
you.
there,
He's
100%. Yes,
Question.
yes, Amir. Yes, Amir.
Arteta in or out this week?
In
and
Why?
Amir, I'll ask you this
He's
week. Then. Come
never
on, you
gonna
winning
be
the league?
out.
Why?
I don't need to ask. I don't need to answer why.
Why
Forever
not?
now. Every time you answer this, I don't need to answer why.
I will. We
I
can
tell you
do.
what. You can find my why on the previous 10 videos you've asked me.
Go back and make a compilation of just Elliot Wise, just
Yeah.
clip after clip.
No, it's a compilation of them. Every asking every week. Arteta in or out. We'll go, yeah. And then finally you go, no.
Yeah,
There's no fun in that.
He'll
this
say no,
ends.
but with this clip, forever, I'm never saying no. Next week they get battered. There's 2 games He's like, oh.
No, Daniel.
I don't think El
Whereas-
can ever say no, like unless they like drop out of the top four or something.
I feel like he can. I feel like some Arsenal fans can if they don't
Yeah,
win the
but
league. I
some
think
most Arsenal fans are just delusional gimps. Like they just
they're not
generally have
delusional.
no clue. It's like
Why
they've
would
just
you say
figured
they're
out what
delusional?
Arsenal Football Club is in the past 2 seasons when we've decided to grow a backbone and play good football. Like
Maybe they're just
if you
ambitious.
started asking these lot who our back line was in like 2018, they'll be like, don't know.
Oh, what's your backline in 2018?
David Luiz, Socrates, Monreal, and Matteo Debuchy, bruv. That's
Oh,
who we had at the back.
we're
Guy,
just
can
gonna
you
take your
verify
word for
that
it.
whilst I carry on with the,
Oh, I'll have a look.
the
That's
Dan
who we
segment?
had
probably
at the back.
Dan probably
Oh, but
remembers the game
Or
between
probably Callum
Arsenal and
Chambers at right back. I mean, that was
just
something.
just
Rob
a counter
Holding.
for you. Huh? Just a counter for you. Would you say them Arsenal fans are delusional, or they just they're ambitious and want their club to reach that
There's a
level?
difference
That level.
between being ambitious and just, I don't know, like this. I guess at the end of the day, everyone's after quick success. And sure, look, he's been here 5 years now. We've had that Instagram thing at the celebrating Arteta been here for 5 years now. But at the end of the day, look, if he's in like building up the morale between the fans as well, I know it's obviously quite hard at the moment. Let's say he walks away this season with a trophy or two, then fantastic. It doesn't matter if he walks away with the Premier or not. He's done well. Like I don't see the kind of I know it's obviously something to want to strive for. Yeah, like I'm for it as well. I want to win everything with Arteta and this team. This team's fantastic. But this team has taken 20 years to bring this hope and desire back for Arsenal Football Club since we left with the Invincibles in like 2006. Do you see what I mean? Like, yes, we've had the likes of these small little one-off players like Aubameyang, Ozil, Cazorla, Rosicky. Do you know what I mean? We've had these small
Sanchez.
out-and-out players,
Sanchez.
but it hasn't been enough for that like top push to the number one spot. As you say, like we've had that Wenger period where we were just getting top four consistently every season, and like this
That's
sort of
what you're
time
doing
now.
now.
But this sort of time now, like as I say, all those players I just mentioned, they weren't like number one, like they weren't top three in their position in the world. Whereas obviously before Saka got injured, bless him, he probably was top three right wingers in the world. You know,
Mm.
Odegaard maybe like top three in his position as well. Do you know what I mean? We've got such a good kind of
That's a
caliber.
good
Saliba as
question.
well, Gabriel. Like we've got
That's a
such
very
good
good
caliber.
question, actually. Top three position in that Odegaard position. Would you say Odegaard is top three in the
Well, if you've
world?
just said the top three in the Odegaard position, then of course he gets in top three.
Well, in that
The Odegaard
You've
position.
the
no, I'm
Odegaard
asking
position,
you. I'm
exactly.
asking
Well,
you. Do
no,
you guys
you've
think
just
there's
said it. Yeah,
three?
100% he's top
I'm
three.
asking. Do you guys think there's three attacking midfielders better than Odegaard in the world?
Where are you playing Palmer? Are you playing him out wide?
Yeah.
Either. Oh, we can.
I mean, yeah, then
Pick
it'll be
one.
Palmer.
Huh?
Musiala, or is that
What?
Florian Wirtz.
Bruno?
there's always one?
Don't know what's he
Well,
doing.
yeah. What do you mean?
Like a
Why are you
clown
laughing?
in army
Bruno?
gear.
No,
Well,
Bruno would still be there. No, Kevin De Bruyne has less of a claim there now. He's finished.
he has been injured for like 2.5, 3 months, or whatever it was.
Yeah, and he's come back and done shit. So he's just about the same reaction.
I think, yeah.
Odegaard gets top three. I don't know who you put in front.
No, he's not
Musiala.
wrong. I would say Odegaard is maybe top three. Yeah, maybe.
Eventually. Let us know
Do
what
you
you
know
think.
who's the two above him, Chavez, in your opinion?
They're all
Wirtz and
interchangeable, I think.
yeah, Wirtz, Musiala, they're all good.
Have Palmer?
But you said I don't know if Palmer counts or not. If Palmer counts, then it's Palmer's number one.
I don't think Palmer's been on the wing at all this season.
Well, so that's what I
Well,
was
then yeah,
thinking.
Palmer.
We've had Neto and Sancho on the wings.
Yeah.
Foden's not been great this
No,
season.
No,
no, thank you.
he's been poor.
A poor
Jack
call from
I'm
Grealish.
you.
trying to think in La Liga. In La Liga, who's the attacking midfielder for Barca?
Jude.
Ed-
I'm thinking of Madrid.
Yeah, it was
Jude?
Jude Count. Jude's position's changed
Yeah,
again.
he
Like,
doesn't.
more...
Don't
Plays his
go off
game,
FC rate.
game to game.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a dying position. If I'm being honest, not every team employs a 10 now.
10, number 10.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
Arsenal because he's so good at it, you know? You say?
Outrageous shout from me here, Georgie Jack for Tete. Baller.
I don't know who you just said there, Daniel.
What?
I don't know who you just fucking said.
Poking it off
Say that
player because I
again,
can.
Say
Poking
the
it.
name again, Dan. Say the
Shaq-
name again.
Shaq-
Ujutete.
Jack for Jujuteke.
Christian
Shagatante.
Benteke.
Who was it, Dan?
Furniture started floating.
Dan,
Say
say
it
it.
again.
Georgie Chak for Tete.
Oh.
Georgie Jack Potato.
Is that Georgian?
Yeah, baller, absolute baller. I love that
I
man.
can't believe it.
It looks like he hasn't slept in about 3 weeks, but bless him, he is a very good footballer for us anyway.
Dan, championship wise, standout team for you this season?
Oh, it's going to be the most basic answer ever. I'll
Don't say
Chef
Sheffield.
right
No, don't say
because
that.
because
No,
they've got a points
Daniel.
deduction. But I think Sheffield United.
Because they
I
got
think
pointed.
they got, but they're still. Are they,
Say
but they're
someone
top
other
of the
than
league.
Sheffield United. Yeah, it's
Um,
basic, exactly. Don't be a puss.
I'd look at. I don't think anything's been outrageous. Potentially Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, they're ninth at the minute.
Their standout player for you, would you say? Is there any standout players that are probably
Um,
good in the
well, I forget
Prem?
his name every time. The striker from Norwich.
It's Sainz.
Signs. Yeah,
Pookie.
that's the one. Signs.
Yeah, I'm looking
Got
at it.
15
Got
goals already
most
this
goals.
season. Or again
Yeah.
from me, as I said, Jack Fatete for us. Every team, right, brilliant. Every team that comes to the Vic, and I see it on Twitter, they're like, even when we think he's had a poor game for his level, they're like, he's literally just run the show. But if anyone's listening, he's terrible. Don't sign him, please, because we need him. But no, yeah, I suppose that's pretty much it. Really, I mean, we
Dan,
lost.
who did you say had a points deduction?
Sheffield United, 2 points, which
Two
still,
points.
which still would
That's
put
not
them.
even.
But
2 points
still would put
deduction.
them top of the league, though. It's still a
Yeah,
I thought
that's
you
not
were
that
about to
big.
say like a 20-point deduction.
Yeah.
no, no.
2 points for what? What did they do to get 2 point
Now we got a
deduction?
2-point deduction this season for a stupid decision about Man City handball.
Yeah. What can they have done for 2 points?
I
Yeah,
actually
what's a
can't remember what it
2 point?
was. I actually can't remember what it was. But
I'll check potato.
poor bloke. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the episode this week after my championship roundup. So thank you very much for watching, and until next week, goodbye.